And welcome back to another episode where we're going to dive in a little bit deep. This time, we're going to be talking to marketing agencies. So, if you own a marketing agency, or if you're thinking about owning a marketing agency, or if you know someone that owns a marketing agency, send this video or send this link to them. Now, what we're going to talk about is the golden financial formula. Now, this is where I work with several different marketing agencies, and in analyzing the accounting and the finance side of their business, this is something that has been very important. And as I kind of work through this with the marketing agency, they started to really see a lot more clarity on how to move their business forward. But before I jump into that, for those of you that are new and you've never met me before, just to give you a little context, my background is accounting and finance. So I don't speak about this as, hey, I can teach you how to grow your marketing agency. I talk about this more so from the perspective of I'm an accountant, accounting and finance is my jam. I know that very well. I'm speaking from that perspective. And from analyzing it from an accounting and a finance perspective, here's what I have observed. Here are some perspectives. Now, my firm is called the TL Turner Group. We provide bookkeeping and CFO services for other companies. We work with different marketing agencies that have gone on to whether they brought in investors. Some of them have, looked at selling their business. Some have expanded through just organic. Some have expanded through acquiring other firms. And so we have a variety of perspectives of ways and things that we've seen that can help marketing agencies. We've been recognized in the New York Times. And then also, personally, I've been recognized as a 40 under 40 CPA in 2021 and we create a kind of content like this through our media company, the Business Talk Library. So that's a little bit about us. That's who you're going to hear from. Now, back to the topic of the golden formula for marketing agencies. When it comes down to the financial side, the truth of the matter is, you know what? Not everyone has had the privilege of studying finance or studying the business side, because a lot of times what you find is that people know their craft. And I get this because as an accountant, this is something I had to learn, is that I was trained to be a great technical employee. When you go through accounting and you study accounting, you're really trained to do the technical side of it. But there are other aspects to running a business that you don't learn. And I had to learn that through years of just strategically working through different areas. And one of the things that I noticed when a lot of the marketing agencies that I'm working with is they're really good at marketing, knowing the techniques and knowing their trait. But sometimes the financial side or understanding the financial side of the business isn't something that they always grasp. So the formula that I'm going to walk through will be helpful for you as a marketer. And if you're running a small or medium sized marketing agency, I can almost guarantee you that your clients will also benefit from knowing this formula. So once you learn this formula, you'll be able to communicate it with them, and it'll also help you help your clients see how you are helping them be more effective at applying this formula. So here's the simple framework for the formula. So if you're really wanting to understand, hey, how do I define what my revenue target should be? The simple formula is direct costs plus indirect costs plus your desired profits equals what your revenue target needs to be. Now, to break that down a little bit more, your direct costs are going to typically in a marketing agency, it's going to be, the cost of your employees or your contractors, the cost of kind of the services and the subscriptions that you're using to directly support the client deliverables. So all of the costs that are directly tied to you being able to give the client a finished product, that's what I would consider to be direct costs. And then when we move into indirect costs, that's going to be a little bit more of some of those behind the scenes stuff, some of the stuff that's important for you as a business owner. It may not be directly tied, for example, like the rent for your office building or your office space. It may not it may be essential to your business, but that's not directly tied to you delivering a product to your actual client. Like, you could work in different places or you can work from home. But maybe for you and your business and for your team, that's what you need to be productive. And it's an important cost because it's important to you running the business, but it may not be directly important to you actually delivering the end product to the client. And then your desired profit. This is where we really take a look and see, how much money do you want to make in your business? What is that number? And you should have a number. And what I always tell people is that no number is unattainable as long as you are willing to do the work, make some adjustments, and work a strategy to get there. So whatever that number is. And then when you add all of that up, then we get to what your revenue target is. Now, let me show you this example when we drop some numbers in. So let's say, from a direct cost standpoint, your direct cost is $75,000 a year. So that's the contractors that you're paying and all of the direct services. And let's say you have about 30K in indirect costs for the year. So all of the back end stuff, whether it's buying, different computer programs, your email, your website, all those, your rent, different background stuff. And then for your desired profit, meaning you want to walk away with, you want to take 100 or be able to take $120,000 for yourself out of the business. Well, when you add all that up, all three of those parts together, your total comes to $225,000. So what that tells me is, if you want to walk away with $120,000 from your business, then you need to actually generate, at a minimum, you need to generate $225,000, or you might have to cut some costs in some of the other areas. Believe it or not, I think it's a lot easier to grow. And you're a marketing agency, so it's a lot easier to grow your business than it is to keep cutting your business and try to stay productive. So when you think about it from that perspective, this is how you define what your revenue target is. Now, what I will say is, that's one thing to know what your revenue target is. The other thing that takes it a little step further, like, because there are some people who go through this formula and they're like, okay, all right, my direct cost plus indirect cost plus my desired profits equals my revenue targets. And then they stop there. But what I really want to challenge you is, people who I've seen do very well in their business, they actually take it a step further. And here's the next part of that form, or here's part two of this formula that they really start to grasp. They start to take and really understand, what is the target number of clients that I need to be able to achieve that revenue target. Now, the way you get to that target number of clients, it's taking your target revenue divided by your average revenue per client or per customer. When you take those numbers, you're going to end up with, hey, if I am going to be able to pay all the vendors, pay all my, my suppliers, pay all my indirect costs, and I'm going to be able to take the desired profit that I want out of the business, here is the number of clients that I need to make sure that I have. This becomes very important. And one of the things that I challenge a lot of business owners, especially marketing agencies, if you're working with an accountant or bookkeeper, they should be helping you identify these numbers. Because a lot of times, what people don't know is, when they're working with an accountant, they're like, okay, maybe the accountant, this isn't something that the accountant does. I need to do this on my own. A lot of times, if you just ask your accountant may be able to help calculate these numbers for you and give you insight to tell you, hey, in order for you to hit the target that you want, you need X number of customers. Now, again, let's drop some numbers in here so we can see. Now, before, we said our target revenue was $225,000 a year was the target revenue. Well, if your average client pays you $1,500 a month in monthly fees, if you do the math on that, it comes out to about, I think it's the exact number is 12 and a half clients, but let's round up to 13 to say what it tells me is if you want to be able to do what we defined here. You want to be able to cover your direct expenses, cover your indirect costs, and you want to be able to walk away with $120,000 in profit, then you need to be able to have 13 clients paying you a monthly fee of $1,500 a month. Now, I know we went through this kind of quickly. Like I said, we went through it in like 10 minutes, but what I really believe is that this is the golden formula that will really guide you and help your decisions that you need to make about where to take your business, how to take your business forward. It will help you tremendously. Now, the reason why I think this part is very, very important as well as the first part is because once you do the math to this level, this tends to help a lot, and I say it again, a lot of businesses realize you really don't need that many clients to hit your target and your goal. Now, as a marketing agency, I hope that you have already grasped, like, hey, you know what your target audience is. But if you don't, and I understand a lot of people don't define their target audience because they're a little unsure if, hey, I don't want to shut myself off to business because I don't want to miss any opportunities. But when you do this type of math, what you quickly realize is you don't need that many clients to hit your goal. So there should be no fear about finding and defining your actual niche because you really don't need that many clients to hit your goal. Now, of course, you'll need to put your numbers in these formulas if you want to see how it works and what it really means for you. But definitely take advantage of this. And as always, it's been a pleasure and continue to check out the Business Talk Library content because we're always sharing great content like this, trying to help more business owners move their business forward.